Okay, everybody. Okay, everybody. I'm so sorry. For some odd reason, uh, the intro didn't play. Maybe I wasn't supposed to have no intro today. I don't know. Maybe the Lord just don't want me to have one. I don't know. Let me see. Because it surely did not work. Let me see. Which one is the intro? Okay, let's see.
Said I've been up and I've been down.
I've always lived a life fantastic.
Said I've been played and I've played around.
I always landed on my feet.
There have been bumps along the way,
But I had to take my chances.
and other times were not so great.
But you were standing there to grace me.
With open arms you would catch me, and with the same arms you would love me. Much lower.
You were afraid, it ain't no secret.
No grace from any man.
Why don't you quit while you can still quit?
And then you say, come take my hand.
That wasn't me, it was something holy.
With open arms you would catch me, and with the same arms you would love me. Yeah. Always there to forgive me. Ready to receive me. Wanna say it again. With open arms you would catch me, and with the same arms you would love me. Yeah. Always there to forgive me. Standing at the ready to receive me.
What I was made of. Disappointment or disapproval from the heavens. Only thing I'm afraid of. I'm the nuisance child. Grew up in the lowest tax bracket percentile with loud. So of course I'm bitter. Got recourse for them hecklers who try to modify me. But if you can't control these streets, how can you get me?
With open arms you would catch me, and with the same arms you would love me. Yeah.
We are Mad Church Disease, helping you understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. This is a show for everyone, believers and non-believers, from churched to the unchurched. Help us grow the channel by supporting our non-profit causes and create more consistent content. Donate by Cash App or PayPal, or buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com.
Shout out to all of you. Let me make sure that my sound is on and we are good so that way we can have our conversation. Good evening, everybody, and thank you so very much to St. James and all of the folks that are coming over for the show tonight. I really do appreciate you. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the abuser became the accuser. And I want to take a little bit of a different turn tonight as we discuss this. I want us to really sort of look at this in a different light and to discuss the actual crimes of Duane Youngblood. And so we're going to have this conversation. Shout out to all of you that are now joining us. I really do appreciate you coming in here. Let me go ahead and change and put myself on the screen here. God bless you. Thank you for being here with me. I don't know why is it this one? Okay, hold on. Let me make some adjustments here. Hold on, guys. I don't know what this is. All right, there we go. That's the best I'm going to pull with that. And I wanted for us to discuss this in a different light tonight. And I want you guys to really sort of hear my heart as I discuss this. And I feel like this is necessary. And I wasn't going to do this, but the more and more I started reading these documents, I kind of felt the need for us to really kind of dive into the crimes of Duane Youngblood and really discuss it in a more balanced situation. Now, before I get started tonight, let me first of all put this up on my screen because you guys know I always like to have this up here. Hold on, that's the wrong thing to have up there. That is too. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Thank you. Hold on. Now, why is that doing that? Okay. I don't want that up there either. Okay. This is a trip today. Like, why is this is acting up? My intro didn't even play when I first started the live today. I was sitting here like, okay, where's the intro? I don't know what happened, but I wanted to put this up on the screen. Shout out to all of you that are watching. Let me first of all shout out the member Sharon T. Leonard. Let me go ahead and shout out Tanika Shanette. Neek, good to have you here. Of course, she did 1406. Good to have you with us. Sharon T. Leonard, so glad to have you with us. Shout out to all of the members. Rejoice Wellness Care, Moni No Love, St. James is in the house, just being me. And I wanted to take a different vantage point. Denise M., good to have you in here as well. Shout out to the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Good to have you in here as well. And so we're going to take it a little bit different. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with my channel, let me first of all, I'll start off by saying this. The Mad Church Disease channel has always been a channel for advocacy for victims and people who have been victimized and within the institutional church setting. When I first came across this particular case, and we started discussing it and talking about it, if I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I had a little bit of apprehension. And the reason why I had a little bit of apprehension, because I don't want anybody who has ever been victimized by the institutional church to find my channel and to find me and find a place of judgment and a place of ridicule and a place of hurt. I sort of take the Tammy Faye Baker approach. Yes, I'm quoting Tammy Faye Baker. One of the things that Tammy Faye Baker said that I loved and has always stayed with me my entire life. Tammy Faye said, when people find my life, I would rather them, find my life as a hospital rather than a courtroom. And what that means is I'd rather let people find my life and find healing from their hurting, for healing from their situations, rather than judgment and condemnation. When this Youngblood case came forward, ladies and gentlemen, I had some apprehension. And I had some apprehension because I was like, well, I'm known for helping people who have been hurt in the institutional church. That's what this channel is known for. That's what I am known for. I have built my entire audience on YouTube, and prior to YouTube on other social media platforms, helping people. And so when I heard this Duane Youngblood story, I just was like, I was really didn't want to really go here. And I said, because you notice on this channel, I've mentioned his crimes, but I've never talked about his crimes. Right. And so tonight, we're going to take a different approach, and we're going to take a different turn, and hopefully someone will get something out of this program, and you will be educated. You will understand me a little bit better, and you will understand why I'm talking about these things the way that I'm talking about them. Now, like I said, because my channel is a channel of helping victims, I was so apprehensive about talking about this case this way. Now, for those of us who have been around this case and have talked about this, and I think somebody early asked, where was the 4-hour live? Let me see if I can find this comment. I'm going to scroll back up real quick, because somebody asked about the 4-hour live that I did. There it is, Sharon. The 4-hour live that I did was actually on the St. James channel. It's on St. James channel. I believe it was last night. It was I Am Courtney was on there, and then I believe I'm saying her name right. And then I came up, and then Vincent came up, and when Vincent came up, it became a 4-hour live. And so yeah, and I mentioned some stuff last night about that case, and the reason why I kept interrupting Vincent. I kind of told you guys why I did that as well. But that's where the 4-hour live is. So, when it comes to Duane Youngblood, I was anticipating, waiting to see, of course, what the paperwork, the filings were. And I've been, trying to be as objective as I possibly could when I read the paperwork. But from the inception of this lawsuit, I have been tremendously annoyed with what he has come forward with. Now, why have I been annoyed with what he's come forward with? When you read his actual documents and his actual account of what happened to him, you are dealing with a hug, a potential kiss, a phone call, because now it's been resulted to a phone call. And you remember beforehand it was in the bubble bath, but now it's just a phone call. And all of these list of things that supposedly TD Jakes is supposed to be requesting from someone that he just met. And regardless of whether he just met him, regardless of whether he was a concierge, because now, that's what the other legal documents say. Oh, he was a concierge in driving Bishop Jakes all around the city, and so forth and so forth. And so I was like, this is kind of interesting. So I was anticipating all of the responses. I've read all the responses, and I was waiting for Duane Youngblood to give me something that was going to, turn the switch off for me so that I could understand his case better. Because, and I'm going to say a lot of things tonight, and I need for you all to be patient with me tonight. Because I am going to, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm in full transparency. I'm just going to lay it out here tonight. Do I believe that something has happened to Duane Youngblood in his past? I really do believe that there might have been something that, that has happened to him. But as it relates to the story that has been presented to us, do I believe that happened to him? I'm going to say, no, I don't believe it. And the reason why I don't believe it, number one, is because the story just keeps changing. And then with this emotional pile on this last filing, it seemed to me to be tremendously disingenuous. It just seemed to be, lawyers putting together their narrative in order to help their client look more legitimate or to legitimize his claims. With the affidavits that we have read over the last couple of days, it has just caused me a tremendous amount of uneasiness about really even listening to Duane Youngblood talk about anything. Now, do I think that TD Jakes is totally innocent throughout his whole life of Christendom? No, I don't. I don't think any man is innocent, because the Bible teaches us that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So TD Jakes is as much of a sinner as the rest of us. So do I believe that TD Jakes is all innocent of everything? Absolutely not. But I have a tremendous problem with Duane Youngblood's story. Now, no matter how much I tell these people I'm trying to look at this objectively, people are going to come by and they're going to say whatever they say. And I'm apologize if I'm not looking at the chat, because typically when I look at the chat, I get distracted, and we got some work to cover here for a little bit. So I'm just like, okay, Lord, just give me something. Like, let me get something from Duane Youngblood that'll make me fall in line with this story. Now let's roll this all the way back. What is the problem with why so many of us are having a difficult time receiving this information from Duane Youngblood? You hear a lot of us talk about the fact that he is a twice convicted essayer, and he's committed crimes against young people. And you hear us discuss that, and we kind of just sort of discuss it and gloss over it. In the court documents, Duane Youngblood says that him and Dr. Dingleberry went over it for the first hour of their interview. And if you saw the interview, and I'll be honest, I did not watch the whole thing. I let Vincent do the commentary, and I went over there and watched Vincent. Vincent didn't go over all of the stuff. I didn't see the whole video, so I'm really only talking about, in full transparency, what I saw from Vincent. So I watched the video, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, this story just doesn't really make any sense. And then a lot of things have started clicking in my head. When this man came up with this story, y'all need to understand he was just getting out of jail from committing his crimes. He had not been out of jail for a very long time before he was sitting on Dr. Dingleberry's platform and giving this account of what he felt like happened to him between TD Jakes and himself. And then outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, there came a request for $6 million. And I think that gets really lost throughout all of this back and forth. You know what I mean? And even though I joke and I make jokes about it, but I sit around sometimes and I critically think about all of these things that have been presented to us, right? And I started thinking, and I'm like, well, we got to remember that as soon as he got out of jail, he was sitting in front of Dr. Dingleberry and giving out an account of what he felt like happened to him, So it wasn't like he had been far removed from prison, and it wasn't like he had been far removed from his crimes. And so, it gave a different perspective to me over the last couple of days, because I've been mulling over this and thinking about this for quite some time. Now, for those of you that know me and that follow me, you guys know I love language. I love words. I love the etymology of words. And so I started looking up some stuff, because when he went on Dr. Dingleberry's platform, they called him from the abuse to the abuser. And I said to myself, from what I've heard thus far, he might have been abused, but he's only become an accuser, because he hasn't produced a piece of information that would help us and assist us in really believing him in totality in regards to the information that he's presented to us. Let's talk about abuse for a second. When a person is abused, when you look up the word abuse, one of the definitions that you will find is abnormal use. And that means to use a thing, of course, which outside of its normal function or use. But one of the definitions for abuse is a corrupt practice or custom. And when we look at Duane Youngblood, we have to understand something. Prior to this lawsuit, Duane Youngblood made it his practice and custom, according to some of the things that we're going to read here in a minute, to essay young men and to have meetings with young men. One of the accounts of his crimes says that he met with one young man over 40 times for counseling sessions, right? And it was improper, It was excessive, and it was something that he did on a continuous basis based on the articles that I'm going to show you here in a minute. So he is not someone that, and this is one of the reasons why I had trouble with this last filing that he did when he said he was so traumatized, and he's been traumatized and he's scared because of a 3-line text message that he got from TD Jakes' son, and this narrative that they have painted to sort of make him look like he's some sort of victim. And that's the other thing that I think for me, and I think for some of you, the thing that we're struggling with is the fact that he is trying to present himself, and the podcaster tried to present him to us as a victim. Because here this older gentleman is, who has committed, according to his documents, his things that have already been documented, who has committed crimes. He committed crimes on multiple times, and he was not, quote unquote, traumatized. He didn't suffer from mental abuse. I mean, all of the things that he mentioned in this lawsuit, he was doing these things prior to getting out of jail. So he went from jail to sitting in front of this vlogger slash co-conspirator making these claims against TD Jakes. Now, before you rush to say, well, Marcellus, you guys are just always defending TD Jakes. If you remove TD Jakes from the equation just for a second, my channel is called Mad Church Disease. I deal with the disease of mad church disease. It is, to me, a disease that so many church people have. We have a neurological and a spiritual condition that doesn't allow us to stand up on our own 2 feet and use our brain sometime and look at things from a different vantage point. Just because somebody puts God and Jesus with it does not necessarily mean that it's from God or it's from Jesus. Now, I want to say this because I need to say this as well. I was going to say this at the top of the show. I believe in the redemptive work of the cross. This is another thing that I needed to make sure I said tonight. I believe that you can come to the foot of the cross for the cleansing of your sin, and the shed blood of Jesus Christ can wash away your sin. I believe that. I believe that once a person encounters Jesus, their whole life can change. I believe that when you come to Jesus with the Bible says a contrite heart, God can wash away all of those things, and he can renew us. That's why the Bible says that if any man be in Christ, he is a new creation or a new creature. Behold, all old things have passed away, and behold, all things have become new. I'm not so removed from this, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't understand that 2/3 of the New Testament was written by a man who was sitting in a prison cell. So when you come to me and we have these conversations, I have to have these conversations from a different plateau. Okay. I have to elevate my thought process, and I have to go above the fray of just talking about this and looking at this from a larger perspective. Do I believe that God can change a person's life? Yes. Do I believe that, Youngblood can have a change of life and a change of heart? Yes. But the thing that is causing a great, tremendous amount of pause for me is that he went from prison to the podcast. And then he went from the podcast to the courtroom, trying to make these claims about something that he was participating in. And in my opinion, at one particular time, it was an active part of his lifestyle. Because it was excessive based on the information and the stuff that I've been able to research, right? From the stuff that I've been able to research. Now, shout out to the 125 of you that have hit the like button. I have almost 360 of you, 54 of you over there on YouTube. So we're headed towards 400. Can you guys please hit the like button? Please fall out of the bushes and please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. Just please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Yes, and while you guys are hitting the like button, for those of you that support the Mad Church Disease channel, I want to make sure that you guys have the ability to support the channel. If I could get at least 4 of you to do $12 today, that will keep us on budget, and then we can meet our needs, and our budget will be met. So I would appreciate those of you that support the channel doing that. I've got 138 likes. Can I get at least to 150? Maybe 160 before I continue, because then I got to pull up some articles. I got to pull up some video, and I don't want to stop, to ask you guys to hit the like button for me. Please do. And I'm not going to go out. I'm just going to keep going. Just ham. Okay. So, that's that. And so we're going to definitely deal with that. Okay, all right. So that's the first part of that. And I'm gonna take a moment and read some of y'all comments. So let me go back up here. Somebody said, perhaps this entire thing is about Youngblood and his co-conspirators defaming Bishop Jakes. After all, it seems his brother has quite the bone to pick with Bishop Jakes. I agree with you. It definitely seems that way. It definitely seems that way. And I definitely heard St. James say something about his brother being a part of TD Jakes's inner circle or ministry or something at some particular time, or, the inner workings of that denomination or ministry. And then TD Jakes got rid of him, and the man had a divorce, and it seemingly that man has had a bone to pick ever since then. So that definitely, most certainly is that. Now, as Moni is declaring so accurately, this is a show about church, not a church show. We talk about raggedy pastors over here. That's what we do. We highlight some of the crimes and some of the things that preachers are doing, and we speak about those things from a different perspective. That's where we're at. Miss T Pre, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so very much for joining me. I appreciate you doing that as well. And every now and then, Miss T Pre, I'm going to try to get over there to offer some stuff when you're covering some topics that I can speak on, and help you out over there, because you do a great job, and I like the way you speak. So that's one of the reasons why I did that. Rip, somebody said, Gerald says, repentance is turning away from, and this is the key, willfully sinning or doing the same act of sin. Old school has not shown that he wants to change because his mindset is still going there negatively by what he did. Absolutely. And something else, Gerald, that really got me thinking, you're supposed to be in prison atoning for your crimes. Okay. You're not supposed to be in prison thinking of a way that once you get out of jail, you're then going to make an accusation against someone else and then some kind of way get a $6 million payoff. When you're in prison, you're supposed to atone for your crimes. Now, I haven't seen, heard, had anything displayed from Youngblood other than what he wrote in those documents that says now he is an advocate for those types of things. I have not seen him be that out here in the public. I don't know about you, but that's just how I feel. I haven't seen it, haven't heard it, don't know anything about it. When I looked up Youngblood and started studying some stuff about Youngblood, Youngblood has like 3 or 4 YouTube channels on YouTube. Okay, I want y'all to know that. And none of those channels are really about that. It's just about his financial stuff and some of the other stuff he's doing, and he's talking about taking this journey and taking people on the journey. And the YouTube channel he put together, ladies and gentlemen, one of them was put around the same time that he was doing this interview with Dr. Dingleberry, and that also caused me a red flag, because I'm like, was the purpose of this YouTube channel to get people to flock over to your YouTube channel and subscribe to your channel? And as you can see, that didn't really work, because a lot of us were, we were on a great sense of pause when it came to this dude. I'm just saying. All right, let's move on. Somebody said, I can't stop laughing because but I know you're serious. I know I'm hilarious. I know I'm funny. I sometimes even when I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean, come on. I mean, we come on. A good evening to everybody. So let me pull up some articles and let's have a conversation. I got to do it. I'm sorry, but I got to do it. And I normally would not do this, because when victims and people have been victimized and stuff like that, I definitely try to walk, humbly and deal with them with a different type of, hand, with a different type of situation. But this situation from this guy is something else. Okay. Now, there was a article that was written on a website, and the website had one of them pay gates, but somebody actually got access to the website, and they actually put up one of these articles, and they're going to give you the source of this information as well. Now, this information came from the I believe the Pittsburgh Post Gazette. Okay. And should I can I no, I'll leave it there. Let me see if I can raise this up for y'all so y'all can see this a little better. Okay. All right. Now, this was written by Jonathan D. Silver, and let's go into this really quick. And I want to give some commentary to this because I want to really get some thoughts out. Duane Youngblood, a married pastor from Wilbering, uh, and a father of 5. So this is something I didn't know about him as well. Apparently, he has 5 children. Okay, he's 5 children. Was arrested yesterday for molesting a 15-year-old boy whom he was counseling for being sexually abused. All right. Now, here's the thing I want to talk about as well. Understand something. One of his victims, according to this article that was written in the Pittsburgh Post Gazette, one of the children that this man was arrested for was a 15-year-old boy. Okay. He was supposed to be counseling him for sexual abuse. Now here's the thing for me. There is a level of diabolicalness to Duane Youngblood when it comes to submitting this type of case, because I don't believe that Duane Youngblood himself has been properly healed, according to him, from the abuse that he suffered. He came out of prison and made a claim and a case against TD Jakes after molesting a 15-year-old boy whom he had been counseling for being sexually abused. Okay. Bishop Youngblood of the Higher Call World Outreach Church on Mifflin Street in Homestead surrendered yesterday morning at Allegheny County Police Headquarters in Point Breeze. He was accompanied by his attorney, Richard Royce. Mr. Youngblood, who at the time was 39 years old, was charged with involuntary deviant sexual intercourse. Okay, so we're not talking about how am I gonna say this? We're not talking about hunching. We're not talking about rubbing up against one another. According to this document and according to him pleading guilty to the case, it says that it was deviant sexual intercourse, indecent assault, corruption of minors, and sexual assault. Police accused him of a single incident of molesting a 15-year-old boy in his church office in the fall of 2002. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is just one of the cases. Okay. And there we see Mr. Youngblood's face here. And this is as he's going off to jail. Help me, Holy Ghost. I got to get this out. As Mr. Youngblood is being led off in shackles and he has been arrested, Mr. Youngblood goes into church speak. And when Vincent was playing the clips and talking about the video, the only thing that came across to me with Youngblood, when he started talking what I call church splaining and church speak. He just started, speaking that church language, which is something that most Christians do when they get caught up in some mess. They try to explain themselves away, over spiritualized stuff, instead of talking like a regular person. And I know that sometimes when you come over here and I use an expletive, or I use a word that some of you use but act like you don't use, you understand, and you get upset with me because I say the words that I say. I say the word sometimes that I say to sort of shock you out of your stupor and to get you to sort of to shake you, because I can't physically shake you, but I say those things to cause you to be a little bit, ooh, you know what I mean? Is to kind of shake you a little bit. All right. That's why I say the words that I say. That's truly why I do it. He says, this is what he said to the people as he was being led off to jail. This one of the times. Just encourage the people of God to pray. That's what he said. Now, this, and I want you to understand something. This is why I say it's really diabolical what is being done right now, because these are grown men. At the time he was arrested, he was 39 years old. He was almost 40 years old when this happened. Okay. 40-year-old man, 15-year-old boy. 40-year-old man, 15-year-old boy. It says 39. I'm just going to give him, well, I'll say 39 just for the sake of 39. 39, 15. Okay. But he sits down with a podcaster and he sort of glosses over his crimes because he didn't really go into the crimes the way that I'm talking about this now. And let me just say this to Youngblood and to any other person that is wanting to tell their story. Where you tell your story matters. If you're going to ask people to give you the benefit of the doubt and you want people to really hear you out and to hear your heart, going on a platform of another man who has been accused of deviant behavior himself, is, in my opinion, not a very wise decision. When you guys are always concentrating on the fact of it's a very large platform, or you see that a person has a very large number of subscribers, that doesn't necessarily mean that that person can effectively handle your story. I'm gonna pause for just a moment and just tell you this. There's a young man named Matthew Russian who is on the spectrum. I think he has autism, and he actually had a car accident, and he actually was put in prison. He kind of freaked out at the scene of the crime, at the accident, and then he kind of drove away. He then came back to the scene of the accident. A man did get severely hurt, and they threw him in jail. When Matthew Russian's story, when his mother was, coming to us, Daryl did not have a whole lot of subscribers, but we told his story and we put his story out there. I believe that they had went on wanted to go to another vlogger's platform, but they didn't want to go to that particular vlogger. So they came to Daryl. Daryl told the story. Once we told the story behind the scenes, what you all may not know, and I hope I'm not revealing too much, but we started emailing all sorts of people, DL Hughley. We started sending this thing out to everybody. I mean, we were going to everybody trying to get people to pay attention. Guess what? They paid attention. So once they paid attention to it, celebrities caught it. Beyonce's mother caught it. She jumped on the bandwagon, and everybody started, supporting his mother and the Matthew Russian story. It was a whole big push to get Matthew Russian out of prison because they actually put Matthew Russian and sentenced him to prison. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a small YouTuber, Daryl Moore, the cigar vlogger, helped to get Matthew Russian out of prison. So the reason why I'm telling you that story is I want you to know it doesn't necessarily matters what platform you go on. Sometimes it's the matter of the heart of the people whose platform you go on and the intent that people have to tell your story and to get your story out to the masses. You have to understand that not everybody who's telling your story is actually caring about you or your story. And it's really sad that, people think that just because a vlogger has a lot of subscribers, that some kind of way legitimizes that individual and that individual can help them in that way. Because as we can see, the way Duane Youngblood's story was told and it was rolled out to all of us, it was rolled out on a trash can lid. And then folks got mad that, we didn't go to the trash can lid and just start eating. We didn't go out and start eating the story and accepting the story because it rolled out on a trash can platform. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be funny and I'm not trying to be shady. That's how I view the platform. I know some of you may view the platform a little bit different, but I know some stuff. Okay. And I know y'all get frustrated when I tell y'all I know some stuff. And I just can't look at it that way. And that's just my humble opinion. Let me just move on from that. Mr. Youngblood told reporters as he was led in handcuffs to the police car for the trip to jail. He says, "Pray for me and pray for all the families involved." Now listen to me, Duane Youngblood. He's 39. He ain't no spring chicken. Uh you understand something? He is a 39-year-old man, almost a 40-year-old man. So he has been in ministry for quite some time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like he had just started pastoring yesterday. So this man has been in ministry. So my thing is this: normally, where there is smoke, there is fire. And I would venture to say, if he was arrested at this particular point and with this 15-year-old person as a 39-year-old man, now I don't know if this is true, but just based on my history of telling these stories, I would assume there would probably be some other victims. Now there came another victim at a later particular point in time, because even after certain things happened with this guy and he was put on parole and released, he did it again. Okay, he did it again. Mr. Youngblood said he planned to continue preaching despite his current troubles. And this is the element that I want to tell you guys. This is why I believe a lot of this is steeped in jealousy, because I believe because of his last arrest and his last stint in prison, I think some kind of way. I don't know the terms of his release. I don't know if this is true, what I'm about to say. I'm speculating on what I'm about to tell you. But I don't know why he would not be pastoring unless there might have been some stipulations as far as what he was allowed to do, whether he was allowed to work around children or not. And to be honest with you, if this is all you know to do is preaching and pastoring, and now you got to go out and get a regular job, I want to tell you that it would most certainly create some level of animosity, and it will create some level of anger in you if you cannot preach and you see all of the other people that you know, been around, surrounded by, they're still preaching, they're still prospering, they're creating movies, they're doing all kinds of things. And I do believe that there is something there that is making Duane Youngblood do this. And could it possibly be what happened to his brother and what's surrounding that entire situation and his family? It could have been, absolutely, could have been. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Intellectually, it could have been something between those families that is making this man make these claims and go forward with this lawsuit. Let me continue. He said he was going to continue to preach. Now I find that problematic as well, because you, as a grown man at 39 years old who's just been caught doing whatever you was doing with this 15-year-old, when you're being led off to prison in shackles, the thing you tell the reporters is you plan to keep on preaching. Is that, if that's not problematic for a grown adult, I don't know what else is. In your mind, and this is the disconnect for me from his mind and his mentality. I don't think he's a very mature man. I think that he's a very naive man, because I feel like any person who can say when he's being led off in handcuffs and shackles that he was going to continue to operate in the job that he was operating in, that allowed him to SA children, is not a very wise man. In my opinion, he's just not a very intelligent individual. That's just my opinion, and that's just how I feel. So here's what he said. He declined to answer direct questions about the allegations, saying, "We'll just go through and let the court deal with it." And here's the reason why. Because when you have been put in a situation or in a courtroom situation, the only other choice you have, ladies and gentlemen, is to let the courts deal with it. Now, let's bring us forward to the court case just for a moment, stick a pin there, that we have to deal with between Duane Youngblood and Bishop T.D. Jakes. At the end of the day, the court is going to make the final decision. Now, and I've said this, and I've said this on other platforms. I feel like if TD Jakes' lawyers do not respond properly at this next go round, I think the judge is going to dismiss it, not because of Duane Youngblood's request to dismiss it. I think he's going to dismiss it because there seems to be a lack of evidence on both sides. And I do believe he may leave it open for them to refile or someone else to refile their case. I most certainly think that will be the case. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to talk and make some predictions here. If they dismiss it, I can literally see Dr. Dingleberry in them putting Duane Youngblood up and telling him to file a case against TD Jakes. Now, is he going to win? He wouldn't, based on the evidence and what we've seen, absolutely not. He ain't going to win nothing. But what I find so ironic at this particular point in time, also, ladies and gentlemen, Duane Youngblood is asking for the judge to dismiss the case. And I find this really, really crazy. Sir, you sent the man a letter. Your lawyer sent the man a letter, according to TD Jakes' team, requesting $6 million. That's what you're claiming, okay? And then when the man sues you for your allegations, you come to the court not to bolster your claim or to show evidence that these things that you're claiming happened to you on the podcast. You submit affidavits and some stuff that have absolutely, in my opinion, nothing to do with nothing. I can tell 17 people a lie and have them to fill out an affidavit that I told them that story. That means nothing. It means nothing to whether or not my claim is valid and or there's validity to the statements that I've made. That doesn't offer validity. Let me tell you when an affidavit offers validity. Let's say somebody was standing by when TD Jakes tried to kiss him, according to him, and they came and wrote and filed an affidavit that says, I was standing in the room and I saw TD Jakes try to kiss him. That's when an affidavit becomes essential and becomes very useful to bolster the claim that someone has in the absence of other types of evidence, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that is the difference I kind of feel in this particular situation. And I think we are losing, with the back and forth and listening to all of these other voices. You all listen to me. You're going to have to crowd out of some of this noise from some of these vloggers who are just simply giving you information because they don't like other vloggers, or they're ripping us to shreds because they don't like us. Forget me. Do you not tell the difference between how I do this? I'm not ripping these other people to shreds, even though I disagree with some of the things they say. I don't make my content about them. I make my content about the subject matter and what we are actually discussing. And what we are discussing is the actual case itself, not me, the vlogger, not those other vloggers. It doesn't matter what, I don't matter in this. Only thing that really truly matters is what's being presented to us. Let's continue. So an affidavit said that the victim, who is now 18, so the victim at this particular time in 2006 was then 18. Okay. All right. So let's go on. Where did I lose my place? Okay. Who is now 18 told the police that in 2002, he had been attending counseling sessions with Mr. Youngblood to help him deal with an essay by a family member. Now, I want you to stop for a moment. Oh, God. Oh. There is a pattern of behavior here, in my opinion, for a 39-year-old man. Pattern of behavior. Because, see, sometimes dealing with these types of subject matters, it gets down in my spirit, I tell you. And so when you deal with this kind of stuff on an ongoing basis, I mean, it can get a little emotionally charged and rough for you when you have to talk about this stuff. He was attending counseling sessions because he had already been essayed by someone else. So think about the mentality of a man who would then target a child who happened to be 15 years old at the time, who was coming to him for help and guidance. And the man, instead of guiding him, helping him, through that situation, according to this document, essayed him. And he had been coming to him for counseling for a few times. According to this document, he was going back to him a few times for this. Okay, this is key to this. Now, this man also has this same mentality, because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when he went from this case, he went to another case, and we're gonna get there in just a second. He rolled over into another case. He went from prison to the podcast to the courtroom. Now, my question would be also, ladies and gentlemen, just asking questions, because this is what I do. Was he receiving counseling from this person who submitted their review of him while he was in prison? Where is the documentation for all of this PTSD and all of these other things that he was suffering from while he was in jail? I think that becomes, relevant, because all of a sudden now he's suffering from all of this PTSD, and he's got all this anxiety, and he's got all of these other issues and things. But these anxieties and this PTSD never prevented him from taking jailhouse phone calls or making jailhouse phone calls to a vlogger or quote unquote co-conspirator. He was making calls. Was he stressed out? Did he have PTSD while he was on the phone? I mean, I hate to laugh, but that makes me laugh. In my opinion, I think this is just people trying to shape a narrative, create a narrative in order to bolster their claim, in order to make their client look like a victim. When in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, he is not. He is an abuser and an accuser. Let me continue. It says the victim, who's 18, says he was supposed to help him deal with the essay by his own family member. Okay. Now, this is also the same man. Basically, y'all keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. He put in his new document, remember, that he just submitted to the court, that his sister was essayed. Okay, which says at the time that he was essaying this young person, he knew that his sister had been essayed, and that still did not prevent him from essaying this other young man. So all of a sudden now, Duane Youngblood has received so many revelations when he's filing his lawsuit against TD Jakes. But while he was yet essaying a young man, his sister had also been essayed, and he had also seen this stuff from his childhood. So you would think that someone who had this sort of thing happen to him, and had this type of history, would be able to rehearse in their mind the agony and the trauma that they saw in their other family members, and would not commit that type of situation with someone else. So in order for someone to put those things out of their mind and commit those same types of acts, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, means that that person has to literally leave those things out of their mind and become what they're, become an essayer and become an abuser. And they would have to forego the fact that this young man was coming to him for counseling because he had been abused, and just throw all of that out of the window and continue to create and to do what he was doing to him. Okay. Oh, I didn't come to play no games with y'all tonight. We're having a whole conversation right now. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I'm not playing no games. I take this very serious. I might laugh and joke, but this whole channel is dedicated towards victims. And I don't find anything, I laugh and joke, but this is serious stuff here. And this is one of the reasons why I need people to quit playing like people are not being hurt in the institutional church, and we just made it up, and everything is just made up because you church hurt and everybody's upset. There are some real issues that we need to deal with when it comes to clergy and how we deal with these types of issues inside of the institutional church. Because you got to keep in mind, the thing that this man was able to tell the people was to just have the saints to pray, and he told the reporter he would continue to preach. That's what he wanted to do. Now, Now the reporter, he wouldn't answer no more of the questions, but he did tell them folks he was going to continue to minister and preach the gospel. And my thing is this: when the Bible says that you're to suffer the little children that come unto me and forbid them not, he didn't tell you to essay them. Jesus didn't tell you to essay them. That's not what Jesus said. When Jesus says that children, you have to come, like a little child, because such is the kingdom of heaven. Jesus, the way that Jesus looks at children, and as far as I look at the scripture, when the Bible says, if you do anything to the least of these, Jesus says you're going to be in big trouble. So maybe you just want to ride off into the vlogging sunset with a $6 million payoff, all while participating in these types of behavior while you went to prison, for the reason why you went to prison in the first place. Is it just me, ladies and gentlemen? Am I tripping? I don't think I am. Let's go on. These sessions began in October of 2002, and Mr. Youngblood took the victim to movies and restaurants at the waterfront in the West Homestead. So he took him to somewhere nice, trying to impress him. Mr. Youngblood told the teenager that he reminded the pastor of himself, which is why he wanted to help him. The affidavit said. So let me ask you something, Mr. Youngblood. Would this be grooming? Because one of the claims that these people are trying to make about TD Jakes is that they were groomed. Or there was a whole lot of grooming, and you keep hearing the word grooming thrown around, and TD Jakes' name being thrown around under the guise of grooming. So my question to you all, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to the waterfront and you're telling this young man that he reminds you of yourself, and that's why you wanted to help him, is that grooming? I'm just asking questions. Let me put on these glasses so I can really read. Mr. Youngblood is being held in the Allegheny County Jail on a $100,000 bond. County Police Lieutenant Robert Downey Jr., can you believe that man's name is Robert Downey Jr., said he did not know why it took the victim so long to come forward to authorities. Yesterday's arrest was not the first time Mr. Youngblood was in trouble with the law. 5 years prior, Pittsburgh police arrested the pastor for indecent exposure. On January the 4th of 2001, officers patrolling the Monongalia Wardrough found Mr. Youngblood and another man who was 19 at the time in a car with their pants down. Okay? He was in a car with his pants down. The charge was knocked down to disorderly conduct. Now, here's a part of the problem. When you tell these people you are a bishop or a reverend, in the Lord's church, as my friend Dawson would say, when you tell these people you're in the Lord's church, they reduce the charges because everybody starts to feel sorry because you're supposed to be a man of God. Okay. And Mr. Youngblood pled guilty and was fined $75 plus costs. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, how about that? In 2002, Mr. Youngblood spoke to the Pittsburgh Gazette about his church's efforts to reach out to fatherless boys in the aftermath of a SWAT team removing a 17-year-old Homestead boy from his home during a standoff. So it's all under the guise of helping young boys and mentoring young boys. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound familiar to you? You guys ever heard another court case where a preacher said that he was trying to father and mentor young boys, and then all of a sudden he had a whole bunch of stuff coming out? Does this sound familiar? Okay, continue, Marcellus. I'm beating a dead horse. Yesterday, the church was locked and no one answered the door that was adjacent, the rectory that was adjacent. A sign on the outside, advertised classes for young people. No one answered the door at Youngblood's rented home. Neighbors both there and near the family's former home on Patton were surprised by the arrest. It was a shock to me, says Thomas, 54, who lived across from Patton residence. It doesn't seem feasible. Mr. Youngblood is the founder of the non-denominational Higher Call World Outreach, which he started out of his home in 1990. He is known for forceful sermons that focus on community development and personal fortitude. His ministry has attracted people from all walks of life, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's one article, ladies and gentlemen. So we made it through that one. Let me go ahead and pull up something else that I wanted to pull up for you guys. I don't see the other thing I wanted to pull up. And this is just to sort of recap and give a picture to what I just sort of read. There was something else in here that I wanted to read to you guys as well. This is Duane Youngblood being led off into jail and shackled. And so this was written, this was updated, it says in July of 2014. It was and this says a 16-year-old boy. So 15, 16 around there, okay? And it says here there was something else I wanted to point out. Oh, here's what I wanted. Here's what I wanted to just bolster the claim so that you guys can understand. If you read what it says here, let me read what it says here. It says Youngblood is accused in a criminal complaint filed, blah, blah, blah. The report says that he conducted roughly 40 counseling sessions with this boy for over 2.5 years, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this man did 40 counseling sessions. So do you all remember me saying to you just a minute ago that the word abuse means improper and excessive? Would you all agree with me by saying that 40 times is improper and completely excessive? Would you guys agree with me on that? Now, here we can literally go and document what he has done. He's filed a lawsuit against TD Jakes for a hug and a potential kiss. And some things that he said, TD Jakes allegedly said to him that we have no proof of. Okay. Now look what the article says. The victim told the police that they engaged sex acts for 25 of those 40 sessions. Now, my thing is this. Mr. Youngblood's court case and his paperwork is now saying that he had all of this trauma and he's been so traumatized. Mr. Youngblood, you're saying that these things happened to you in your youth. So if you were so traumatized from your youth, how in the world could you do this 25 times to someone else when you claim you are now an advocate and you're trying to be an advocate? You would think, Mr. Youngblood, that if this happened to you in your childhood, that you would have been an advocate for those people as an adult because you went to jail as a 39-year-old man. Not a spring chicken, not a young pastor, not someone who was being mentored or mentored into ministry. Sir, you did this as a grown man and as an already fully functioning pastor. So when people keep trying to tell us and trying to make us feel sorry for a man who is conducting these types of acts, no, sir, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me go on for just a second here. He says, and I want to tell you, I want to show y'all how sick this is. Youngblood's attorney at the time, Milton Rayford, says it's not a case for of an adult taking advantage of a minor. Our defense is this action happened between two consenting adults. That's what they tried. That's what they tried. And obviously it didn't work. Reach over and touch your neighbor and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, it didn't work. It didn't work. And there is still a matter of alleged sex acts that went on inside of the church. So don't come to my YouTube channel trying to tell me that I don't have a right to discuss these things and to put these things out in public and have a full-on adult conversation when a lot of these sex acts are going on inside of the church. And this isn't the first case where this kind of stuff happens. And don't come over here telling me that I can't talk about it. No, I'm going to talk about it. And I'm not coming from a place of hurt. I'm not coming from a place of anger. If I'm angry about anything, I'm angry at the fact that you guys are so delusional and you're so lackadaisical and you won't accept the reality of the things that we are facing in the church. At least if these things happen on your job, they would fire the people and send the people away. The church is the only place where these people can continue to operate and act, and we act as if they haven't done anything. You know, another thing that pisses me off is that when Youngblood was over there on Dingleberry's platform, you all, when they made that little comment about, well, I can do a lot of things in 15 minutes, a lot of things can be done, and they over there chuckling. To the average person, they just gloss over that. That don't mean nothing to them. But when I heard that, I say, these nigga. Okay. You sitting up here making light of the situation and giggling because both of them know who they are. They are fully aware of who they are as individuals. They know who they are. I'm just saying. So don't come over here telling me I'm biased because I'm looking at the documents and I'm reading the documents and I'm just talking about it from the vantage point that I'm talking about it. Yes. If you want to say anything and you want to be balanced, and if you think that TD Jakes is guilty of this, you just say we got two essayers who are coming forth in it's a clash and a battle of the essayers. But don't try to tell me that Duane Youngblood is some sort of victim, because he was a fully grown man with children. Oh my God. Oh, Duane Youngblood, do you think it would have been okay for somebody to do to your children what you did to other people's children? Of course not. Of course not. You did it to other folks' children and other folks' family members. And according to the young man, you did it 25 times. Uh-huh. And you was trying to get up on the podcaster's podcast again so you could continue to make videos. Allegedly, TD Jakes' team is saying that you told them you're going to continue to send out, y'all going to continue to make videos and keep continuing to send out stuff in order to get your $6 million. Are you kidding me, sir? According to the article, he had what, 5, 6 kids, you guys? I don't even remember what the article said at this point. I'm just disgusted. And I'm really disgusted by these other adults who are playing with this like this is frisbee or something. Oh, I'm gonna make a comment towards you and I'm gonna throw it in your direction and see if you respond to me. I'm over on my channel. I'm gonna say your name and keep saying your name and attacking you. Like that's gonna make a difference in the fact of who this man is. You can attack me all day. The information is out there. Yes, he has children. Y'all got to remind me in the chat how many children he said the man had. I done forgot. Okay. So don't go there with me, sir. Don't go there with me. And folks, don't go there with me thinking that no. Don't do that. Okay, hold on. Let me get this other article pulled up. Hold on one second. Yeah. I'm not new to it. I'm true to it. And each one of these articles had a different something in there. Oh, yeah, because each article the information got more and more, just like these darn videos. Okay, let me show you something. Let me show you something. The article said, and this is from the Pittsburgh something, CBS Pittsburgh. Okay, it said the young man, of course, is 21 years old. It happened to him over a period of 2.5 years while Youngblood was supposed to be counseling him at the church. The assaults allegedly happened in the church office, the bathroom, and a back room. Now, I want y'all to understand something. Y'all got to understand something. Y'all need to understand. This man is bringing TD Jakes to court over a hug, a potential kiss, and whatever TD Jakes supposedly, allegedly said to him. Duane Youngblood, according to these articles, essayed this young man 25 times, according to what the young man and the article that was written. Not only did he do it in the church office, he did it in the bathroom, and he did it in a back room. So this goes to show you the mentality of the person that you're dealing with. He is a serial offender. It's not like he is one of these people that had a situation and then he stopped. No, this is like serial essaying, because this stuff continued. And even when he went to jail on one of these occasions, and I don't know if this is the second time or the first time, I'm just giving you the information. I can't remember right now. Maybe the Juice Radio, you could tell me, because I done forgot now. When he got caught with the young man in the car, what the article said before, with his pants down, he had an ankle monitor on because he had been released out of jail. He was out on jail on probation. So if he was so traumatized by all of his past childhood trauma, I can't imagine how in the world this man thought that was going to be. I can't believe how anybody thought that this man should not be held accountable, or we should feel sorry for him because he was a victim. He's a victim, all right. When I see Duane Youngblood's face, you know what I see? I see a serial assayer, like I would look at a serial killer. The only difference is he didn't kill the people physically. He killed them spiritually, emotionally, and he did a whole lot of other things to those people psychologically. So this man who is now trying to claim that he has so much PTSD and he's so emotionally scarred from the things that happened to him in his childhood is neglecting to tell the whole picture of what he did to these other young people. And he's trying to paint himself as if, TD Jakes and these folks at the Hugga Gugga church were just the people, just the worst people on the planet. No, sir. You are a serial assayer, according to these articles and according to the things that we just read. I would venture to say anybody who did anything 25 times, that is a pattern of behavior. That is an excessive pattern of behavior. If a murderer had killed 25 people, they would say he was a serial killer, right? You wouldn't say, he just killed some people. No, he's a serial killer. Because not only did he kill, but he kept killing and he kept perpetrating the behavior. So when it comes to this man, ladies and gentlemen, out here, and when we read these court documents, we must put into context, ladies and gentlemen, the things that this man is saying about TD Jakes right after he got out of prison. Because I want to reiterate, he went from prison to the podcast and now to the courtroom. These aren't great leaps, ladies and gentlemen. And I do personally believe that these people were having these jailhouse phone calls, and then all of a sudden, Now we have this case, and they're really playing games with this, and they think this is funny, and because they're diabolical and they think that they're getting away with it. It's not about protecting TD Jakes. It's about understanding the type of people we're dealing with. That lawyer Blackburn and all of these and this story time and all of this, this Angela Lansbury, you know murder she wrote kind of writing. I don't know what in the world this man is thinking that he's getting away with. This should have been a series on NBC. This was some David Wolf kind of writing. I don't know who these folks think that he's fooling or who he thinks that they're fooling, but we can really see you guys coming from a mile away. What's up, Christine? Good to have you here. So you're not fooling us by any means whatsoever. And I want to tell the rest of these vloggers who are so determined to make us the issue and to make us the problem, I'm not your enemy. I know you're trying to make me your enemy. And some of these commenters, and these people down in the chat, I ain't your enemy. I'm just a vlogger talking about it and trying to have an articulate conversation about it and give you something else to think about, because this is by definition abuse. And not only is it abuse, but it's abuse of power. Now, here's my question, ladies and gentlemen. This man just got out of jail not too long ago. When did he become an advocate for people who had been SA? Because he said he was an advocate for young boys who had been misplaced and displaced. And you see where that got him. That got him in prison. That's why he went to jail. He went to jail for being an advocate and wanting to be an advocate for young boys and for young people. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen. But then when we start thinking about this and we put this into context, you want to insult my intelligence and say, well, Marcellus, with the way you guys are talking, no one can ever be forgiven. No, I started off the program telling you, I believe in the redemption of individuals. I absolutely believe that God can change anybody's life. But that doesn't mean that you need to be in a place of leadership. It doesn't mean that you should be mentoring young people. You're not qualified to do this, sir. You need to do something else, because this ain't your ministry. Being around young children and young adults, this ain't your ministry. You understand what I'm saying? This ain't your ministry. This ain't what you've been called to do by God. You need to go do something else. You said you want to write books and shut up. Write books of your experience. Try to get your books put somewhere where you can make you some money. But shut up, sir, because no one's listening to you. And the rest of you whiny people who keep coming on the internet. I slept with a preacher. And I done made video number 1, video number 2, video number 3. I'm working on video number 4, because you guys need to know. Listen to me. If you keep putting your morals on the ground, don't get mad when people stomp on them to death. And I keep telling everybody that if you the one running around here acting like you don't have no morals, he's sleeping with you from jump. And you knew what part he played in this whole situation. He was claiming to be a minister of the gospel. So that let you know he was living a double situation. So why would you think he was going to be honest and upright with you? You put your morals on the ground, and Lovie stumped you, GG. Thought I'd just throw that out there while I was talking and it came across my mind. You got your morals stumped to death. That's what happened to you. That's what happened to you. That's all I want to say on that. Let me go to something real quick. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Now, back in the day, just so you guys know, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I belong to an organization called the Church Folk Revolution. You guys will hear me talk about that every now and then. We were a group of church leaders, ex-pastors, ex-first ladies. It was a whole mixture of us. We went out and we actually advocated for victims. That's the environment I come from. I don't come from the YouTube beefing world. Okay. That ain't where I come from. I come from an organization where we actually went out and helped people. And some of the major stories that you saw, and I won't go over that because people be thinking I'm trying to brag. I won't go over that, but we're different, cut from a different cloth. That's all I'll say to that. Let me show you guys this and let's have a conversation about this just for a moment. Now, some of you might have seen this, but for context and for making a complete video, I want to put this in this video just so that some of you can see it. And there are others. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's go for it.
I would advise you to get an attorney because you're part of the case.
Now, let me stop you right here just for y'all to know this man that you see in the gray shirt right here, his name is Brother Leonard. Brother Leonard was a part of the Church Folk is a part of the Church Folk Revolution. And Brother Leonard also has a YouTube channel called Leonard the Truth Seeker. I tried to call Leonard today to have him to come up on the show, but he must have been really busy, so I wasn't able to get him because we are friends, right? So whatever you've been told on the internet about the Church Folk Revolution breaking up because I did something, understand that's a lie too, okay? But I tried to call Leonard today, but Leonard was busy. This is when Leonard was standing outside Duane Youngblood's going to court and being arrested. This was Leonard going out and advocating for the victims of this stuff, for the Church Folk Revolution, okay? Just wanted to throw this at you.
And drama outside the courtroom tonight, and Pittsburgh Action News 4 reporter Sheldon Ingram was there for all of it. So Sheldon, this all happened as a local bishop accused of having sex with a teenager appeared in court?
That's exactly right. It started out as a preliminary hearing that was eventually continued. But then what followed afterwards were some revelations about the bishop and some other matters. Bishop Duane Youngblood faces serious criminal sex charges for alleged acts that happened inside his church with a teenage boy. Youngblood is the pastor of the Higher Call World Outreach Church on Mifflin Avenue in Homestead. The criminal complaint says Youngblood conducted counseling sessions with a 16-year-old boy in his church for 2.5 years. Police say Youngblood engaged in sexual acts with the boy for roughly 25 sessions up until the Christmas break during the victim's freshman year in college.
Okay, so understand something. These are acts that have gone on for 25 times. And according to this article and according to this reporting, up until the person went to college or to school. Let me say this because I understand how some people think. Some people saying, well, if he was essaying him all the way up into that time, well, wasn't that young man pretty much knowing what he was doing and what was going on? So they were in a relationship. Because you hear these vloggers, these nasty, disgusting people on this here internet talking about, oh, well, he was a grown man and he must have liked it. And, they joke and say this kind of stuff about this stuff. Y'all listen to me. It's called grooming. The very same thing that Duane Youngblood is running around here trying to accuse TD Jakes of. That means the young man had to be groomed. And he was groomed by, according to this report, Duane Youngblood. So Duane Youngblood, you are an expert at grooming. You are not someone who is to be excused because you have been groomed, but you are a groomer. And in my opinion, you sat on a podcast with someone who has also been accused of grooming young men. So don't get it twisted, sir. You're not winning any argument over with the masses of people and trying to get us to feel sorry for you and your situation.
Youngblood's attorney, Milton Rayford, delivered this stunning admission.
Our defense is merely a matter of this action happened between two consenting adults.
That's right. Youngblood's attorney admits his client engaged in sex with another man inside the church. The criminal complaint says the sex acts happened in a back room and in a restroom by Youngblood's office. A bishop who was having consenting sexual activity with someone in his church building?
I tell you this, that doesn't mean that people that are pastors and teachers and preachers of the Word of God don't have issues that they have to work out.
Rayford is also
Well, Mr. Lawyer, now get a load of what he said. That doesn't mean that preachers and pastors don't have issues that they have to work out. Well, sir, if those issues require you having intercourse with anyone in the congregation, sir, you need to step down from your position and go work that out somewhere else. Are you trying to say that he needs to work through his sexual deviant behavior even though he's a pastor? So, but his way of working those things out was to essay young men. Are you all hearing what I'm saying to you? And then all of a sudden, now this man is bringing a case against TD Jakes for a hug and a potential kiss. How disgusting is this lawyer?
an ordained minister and says Youngblood has sexual demons he must confront. Well, Bishop,
He has sexual demons he must confront. Okay, well, he should have been confronting him at the house in his own bathroom instead of confronting those demons in the bathroom of the church. He was working out those demons in the back office. He was working out those demons in a back room.
admit that he has some kind of sexual addiction or sexual problem he has to work out?
I think he's got a revelation that he was abused himself as a child, and people that have been abused ultimately sometimes turn out to be abusers.
And then a confrontation broke out between Youngblood's attorney and a religious watchdog group.
I would advise you to get an attorney because you're part of the case.
What I'm asking you is this. What I'm asking you is, as a registered sex offender, do you think that he should have the right to actually pastor a church?
You, sir, should get a lawyer.
We hold these men to a high standard. We hold these men to a standard of not to touch the children.
And Youngblood.
And listen to what Leonard had to say. Leonard said, we hold you to a high standard. And one of those standards is not to touch the kids. Can you imagine in a world where you have to actually say that? And do you know that that lawyer had to later come back and apologize to Leonard because he thought Leonard was somebody he wasn't even. He thought Leonard was somebody else. When he told him, oh, you need to get a lawyer because you're going to be part of the case, he literally thought Leonard was somebody else. And he later came back and apologized to Leonard for that, just so y'all know. I'm just saying. You're going to tell that man, oh, you go ahead and get a lawyer. Okay, no problem. Just interesting. Very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the man that you all, some of these people on the internet, want us to just make excuses for and to just pretend like we're not adults and we don't understand what we're talking about. Now, I'm an hour and 30 minutes in. I want to be kind and gentle. I'm going to drop the link for anybody that wants to come up and comment. You have that right and freedom to do so. Point blank and period, so you guys can see that. I wanted you to understand the abuser became the accuser. So he's throwing out a whole lot of accusations, but he hasn't shown us any evidentiary proof that this actually happened to him, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where I stand with this. And that's just where I stand with it. Your thoughts. Your turn. That was a whole lot of talking. Yeah, there might have been a time. Absolutely. No, well, that lawyer in what's that name of that lawyer? I don't think it was Tyrone. Was it? No, it wasn't Tyrone. What was the name of that lawyer? They told us the name of the lawyer. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Tyrone. No. I think Tyrone was probably somewhere watching Barney at that particular time, because y'all got to keep in mind Tyrone is not that he's not that old. You know, he looking, in my opinion, for a payday. Yeah, and there is no such thing as consent when it's a minor. Okay, a serial monster. Talking about some sexual demons. Absolutely. They always over spiritualize everything, Tasha. Oh, you just can't talk about anything like a regular person. You just have to just make up all of this stuff and you have to over spiritualize. Somebody says, what kind of pastor or counselor lasts for 2 years? He never attended an accredited. Oh, I'm sure he was not accredited and had no proper training or schooling into that. I'm sorry. But that's what they do. You know, they take a few classes, get a few hours of counseling stuff under their belt, and then all of a sudden they Christian counselors. And like I said, preachers and pastors can't solve every problem. You know, we need to understand that. You know, they're not, the preachers and pastors aren't, you know, they don't know everything. But this is to sort of give you a little bit more context as far as what he did, who he did it to, how many times he did it, and the fact that he was to me, he is a serial abuser. I'm just saying. Somebody said, even if he provided proof, trying to get a hug and a kiss from a grown man isn't a crime. I agree. I totally agree. I 1000% agree with your assessment. Oh, I don't know. Can't answer that question. Yours truly has a question. Uh-oh. And you know, that's what this channel is about. Part of what, you know, the reason why I talk about this is about the abuse that we've all experienced and some of us have experienced. And now when I look at some of Clarence McClendon's doctrine and some of his teachings, that was abuse. In my opinion, he was abusing us. He was using us. He was abnormally using us. That's what the definition of abuse is. According to him, he says that he was abused as a child. And that's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. And shout out to all of you that are watching. If you can please hit the like button. I need at least 4 of you to support the channel tonight with a cash app of at least $12. So please, you guys, go ahead and support the channel. I would very much so appreciate that. I need to go over there and look to see if you guys have done anything thus far. I haven't done it yet. Hold on. I need to go to my phone. Where am I at here? All right. And I dropped the link for you in case you guys have any questions whatsoever. I don't like the way that thing just pops that up. And by the way, this week, this is the video that I am working on. So that's what we're working on this week. And hopefully by Thursday or Friday, I'll have, you know, something that I've already done so I can present it to you guys. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, indeed. That's what I'm working on this week. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me go over here. All right. Let me see what somebody said here. All right. If you're supporting the show, please make sure you do so. Please make sure you hit the like button. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so. Also, if you are a fan of the show and you want to support the show on an ongoing basis, please make sure you grab yourself a membership. That would be very helpful. That helps to sustain the channel for us to keep making content. Matt Church says Jakes is suing for personal injury, assault, libel, and slander. If true, why do you think it might be dismissed if Jake's lawyers don't respond according? Well, because Jake's and them have to show how he was slandered. Just saying that the man went on a podcast is not enough. Now, they've gone through some of the things, but they need to be able to tie in the conspiracy aspect, because he actually did add a conspiracy component onto that thing. And it's a little bit different, because I think with libel, you have to show some sort of malicious intent with that, if I'm not mistaken. So the maliciousness part of that has to be proven. You got to have some type of evidence, and the evidentiary stuff in the beginning, I don't think that we're seeing them submit anything that can show the proof of the maliciousness of it. Now, I do believe they can prove that when it comes to Dr. Dingleberry. I really do believe they can prove that, because he maliciously has gone after this man for over a year, over and over and over and over again. And he said some of the most horrendous things, and we're going to go over those things this week that he has said. That's the plan. That is the absolute plan. And the assault part of that, I don't know if I don't know how that assault part is going to work. But the libel and the slander, I think you have to have a maliciousness of a component to it. And I know either libel or slander, but I think it's libel. And the judge might rule in favor of one and dismiss the assault libel part and just say he slandered the man. He might rule in that part. I don't really know. I have to be honest with you. I'm not a lawyer. I'm speculating. Just like everybody else. I am human first. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. And any evidence that they ever crossed paths during the time frame alleged, he showed some pictures of TD Jakes in the pulpit with a mic, with his vestments on. But he, other than that, no. We saw a picture of him singing in the choir. And I was gonna bring all that up, but I was like, hold up, I don't want to go all the way back and kill y'all off and bore y'all to death. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. And this channel deals with abuse. That's what I deal with. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I'm just here to tell y'all. And if you're in the back and you think you're in the back and I don't see you, you may have to log out and come back in. All right. And I shout out to all of the 342 of you over here on that are still watching me. Make sure if you're on Facebook that you give me some hearts and likes, and you can also support the channel with stars over there on Facebook. Shout out to all of you that have subscribed. Oh, let me check the stuff. I need you guys to support the channel tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm about to lose my phone. I'm about to lose my internet. I'm down to 10% on my phone. Okay, shout out to you guys. I need you guys to support the channel. I need 4 of you to at least do $12 because I don't want to come back tomorrow and need 6 of you. I'd appreciate it, guys. All right. I appreciate every single one of you supporting the channel. So he was in the choir at the church. What did it say? He was at the choir at the church. And TD was preaching at. Well, you know how they do like their convocations and their meetings. And he was singing in the choir. And, that's supposed to bolster his claim some kind of way. It was story time. I don't even want to go into it no more. Story time, story time, story time. He just told stories. Oh, here's me singing in the choir. Oh, there is power, power, wonder working power. Oh, and when TD Jakes saw me, he saw me as a hunk of meat. Just story time. That's all it is. It's been nothing but story time. I'm just saying. I'm not crazy. You not crazy either. And we not crazy. We ain't seen nothing to make us think that this man has had nothing to happen to him. Where's the rest of the evidence? He's bringing Joe Smlow and Joe Blow from over here with affidavits from breakfast. Affidavits from breakfast. That's what that's what this should be called. Affidavits from breakfast. You went to breakfast with a man and told him a story, and he done fill out a paper affidavit. And if you look at one of the affidavits, it looked like the man was so nervous his hand was shaking when he signed the document. I'm just saying. All right, Dr. L, you're here live on the Mad Church Disease podcast. What are your thoughts? I'm just saying, y'all.
Hi, I don't want to bear too much away, but I just wanted to just share my thoughts. It's very disappointing in regards to, oh my goodness, oh God, what is his name? A Youngblood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's disappointing that he is able, it's almost as if he does not have a conscience in regards to, of course, the things that you have already shown in regards to him molesting children, because that's what he did. Mm-hmm. And he's gone to jail for it or whatever the case may be. But the gall, the gall of him to want to get money, because I know the end result is him to get some money or whatever the case may be. But my thing is, my prayer is that the victims that he assaulted I hope they have sense enough to look beyond the fact that he has gone to jail and he served time. If he gets one dime, I'm hoping that those families pursue him,
Absolutely.
because I just cannot imagine. And everybody is saying, oh, he's trying to tell his story. My thing is, if you really were trying to tell your story, and okay, if you really were abused, I get all of that. I'm not
Right.
discounting if you went through anything. That is not what I'm saying. But it's just, my thing is, if that was the case and you secure a dime, it needs to go to open up a foundation to help all of those children that may have gone through what you have put others through. And so for me, I'm just having a real difficult time understanding the whole concept. And then and I know I don't want you, tell me if I go too far by saying this, but in reference to who you call Dr. Dingleberry,
Yes,
um,
ma'am. Mhm.
my whole view, and I'm going to tell you something, I was a staunch supporter in the sense that some of the content, when I, not him per se, just content, I will
Mhm.
follow it now and then. But this is giving me a different perspective in that I feel deep down inside that there is something or a tie of a vendetta because Manasseh and Dr. What's his name? Jordan did not
Mhm.
follow suit as he thought they probably would have. So he's using this man, Youngblood, to carry out vengeance of what he was trying to pursue before with Manasseh and Jakes. I think
Absolutely.
this is sneaky about doing it. And for the first time in a long time, having the opportunity to have seen the attorney, the relationship between, on the video I'm talking about on
Right.
yesterday, seeing the attorney on the video, seeing it, it was, you could tell it, excuse my language, you could just tell all of that was full of shit. Excuse my language. You could just look at it and I'm like, what in the hell is really going on? I'm like, and it gave me, I'm telling you, when I say it changed, it shifted my mindset. I was trying to have a little bit of respect for Larry, but I just don't. I mean, that
Right.
shifted me completely because, like I said, if Youngblood has had something to happen to him, I really feel bad for him. But
Right.
your whole motive of all of this, and then the lawyer is seeming, and just because he has a law degree and he has a little bit of education, he still look like a fool, dumb as a box of rocks,
Yeah.
and
Well,
people could see right through it.
well, you know,
Well,
doctor.
I could.
Well,
Mhm.
doctor, if you look into Blackburn's history and you Google him, he has a reputation, and from what I've seen on Google, he has a reputation for being like an ambulance chasing lawyer and trying to submit these things to get money. This isn't the first time that he has been accused of this type of thing. If you just Google him, you will discover that this isn't the first time. So, people falling in line with that and just saying the rest of us are crazy because we're looking at this and under a microscope, but we also was considering his past history, and you don't go from prison to
Mhm.
the courtroom and then all of a sudden you're rehabilitated.
Wow.
Who rehabilitated Duane Youngblood? Because now he says he's an advocate. So who signed off on his rehabilitation?
Mm-mm. I mean, I at this particular juncture, and like I said, if I go too far, just tell me. I see all of that just, like a tower crumbling down,
Yeah.
and I know I foresee that Mr. Dingleberry man and his
Mm-hmm.
crew, everything. I just see a tower falling down because when you feel like you got to dig a grave and keep doing things, all of that's gonna come back, all of it, and it's gonna come crumbling down. Young blood is definitely gonna crumbling down because I mean, all of it, just a
Right.
bunch of chaotic mess. That's what it looks like, and
Well,
they're supposed to be of God. That's some bull crap.
yeah,
You
I agree that it seems like it just, when I thought about it this week, I said, it just seems like a hodgepodge of whatever we could put together, throw together, and kind of throw it up against the wall, and we'll see whatever sticks. And if hopefully one of this will stick, and hopefully the judge and folks will consider it, because we're going to wrap it under the confines of the law, and we're going to recite some case law, and hopefully the judge will see in our favor. Um,
Mm.
but I'm very disturbed by it. I truly am disturbed by it, if I'm gonna be honest.
And you got a person that he's put, I'm talking about Larry now, pushing a narrative that he's already been accused of himself. And I'm like, what in the world? Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't get it. I don't,
Well,
it's almost like, what has the Christendom world gone to? What is
well,
going
but when I look at a lot of those people, and I had a thought today, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even think those people, well, they're using prophecy and being a man of God, and they're using the church, and they're under the guise of being these things when they're not. When people talk about they're the pastor of this church in Atlanta, Georgia, and you understand what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, it's this is on a whole nother level, but that's just my opinion. That's my
Mhm,
opinion. And honestly,
mhm.
I don't care about Dr. Dingleberry that much. I bring him up because he's always in some
Mhm.
mess and creating some mess.
Exactly.
So I talk about him. People
Mhm.
just, and then they go, "Oh, you just after him, or you just want to talk about him." No, he's just always doing something.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why I say my whole, and I had been watching him for a while, years, but my whole perspective is changing because all I see is messiness,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I was an early viewer, so I understand how you feel. Trust me, I was an early viewer, and I really thought he had a genuine heart towards some of the things that he was saying. But then slowly but surely, you can most certainly see the changes that he made, and how he
That-
sort of pivoted the content, and how things start going down. I was like, oh man, this is a whole trip. But when it
mm.
comes to Duane Youngblood, I've even given over to the thought that possibly Duane Youngblood is being completely used in this situation.
Oh, definitely, most definitely.
I've
Hmm.
even entertained that thought. I was like, hey, he could just be being used, because from what I saw in the progression of how this stuff is going, he might have been just used as the person who could come out here and do that. And I'm just like, well, Marcellus, and we're weighing this, but some of us get accused of being biased, but we the only ones here who are objectively kind of saying we could be wrong. We need to think about it in a different way. You understand what I'm saying? But you
Oh
got
yeah.
other people over there talking about, oh, they know for a fact that TD Jakes paid people off. Well, what they
Mm-hmm.
got to do with this? Even if he did pay the people off, what they got to do with this?
Mm-hmm. But I don't foresee, like I said, I feel like all of that, that's a grave being dug. And my thing, my grandmother always taught me, you dig a grave for somebody else, you better dig one for yourself. And
Yeah,
I see that it's starting from that particular uh that particular blogger. I see that coming from Larry. I see it all coming, and he's bringing it down, and he's initiating and pushing it, and this and that and the other. I'm like, I just can't.
yeah, and
Mm,
I don't know why the attorneys haven't like decided to kind of look at this in a different light, because I really believe they have a great case. And speaking of cases, now that one of Larry's former lovers have come forward, he looks like he's going to be leaning towards maybe doing something. If he gets the proper attorney, that whole immigration thing that everybody thinks that Lester doesn't have a leg to stand on.
mm-hmm,
He's got a leg to stand on.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got a leg, and so people just definitely need to understand that. But I appreciate you coming up,
Someone would
Doctor.
step up. I hope
Hmm.
someone would step up for that young man and help him, because I think that other person who you just said feels like he's indispensable and that he can't be touched, or
Yeah,
whatever the case may be. And I hope the young man, I really, really hope somebody can help him to get on his feet to do what he got to do to bring that whole situation, help bring that situation down.
yeah,
Now,
absolutely,
so,
absolutely. Well, I really
but
do appreciate you coming up. Thank you so very much. And
okay,
everybody doesn't necessarily have to agree with me. You are welcome to come up, and you're welcome to come up and give me your thoughts. You don't have to agree. And maybe you can share some thoughts with me that I just can't see. You understand what I'm saying? I might not know something that you do know, but right now I just can't see it. I don't see it. You know, somebody say he has two to stand. Yeah, he got two legs to stand on. That he does. He does. He most certainly does. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's where I am with it, you all. And I appreciate every single one of you. And shout out to we need 3 more of you to do $12. We got the first one that's already come in. Thank y'all so very much. If you're watching this replay and you want to be one of the 3 to help us meet the daily goal, when you watch the replay, please make sure that you do so. Is this oh my phone's dying. Oh Lord. And so make sure that you guys hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure that you do so. I really do appreciate it. So make sure that y'all do that as well. And I don't see anybody else behind the scenes here waiting on me. I don't. And this is part 1 of this. We're going to get into the documents, and I want to highlight a couple of more things with the documents in relation to this, his crimes with what he's claiming has been done to him. We're going to bring these 2 things together in part 2. So we're going to go over the documents in light of what we have learned today, and we're going to take a look at this in a different view, if you understand what I mean. We're going to use his situation to springboard into what he's saying happened to him with TD Jakes, and we're going to discuss that in part 2 of this video. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, and we'll probably end up doing that on tomorrow or Monday. All right, so thank y'all so very much for your support of the channel. Please make sure you hit the like button. Please make sure you subscribe to the Mad Church Disease channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys on my very next video. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. Please make sure that you hit the like button, and please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the bell icon, and make sure you press all notifications so that way you will never miss any of the exclusive content that comes on my channel. Make sure that you never miss a video. Now, I try to go live every day about 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then I come back at night at around 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 10:30 Eastern Standard, with some more exclusive content. So if you want more Mad Church Disease show content, we'd love for you to become a member, a revolutionary member of our channel. Please make sure that you hit the join button that's right next to the subscribe button or somewhere around here, so that you guys can receive access to special community posts. You guys get all of the access to my community only lives, because we've got some sipping chats that we're going to be doing, and you guys will get exclusive content. So just make sure that you head on over to the channel page, click on the join button, and make sure that you do that. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your love and support, and I'll see you on my very next video.